Welcome to the module 2 of the day. This session will focus on data. For any decision making and analysis, data is the key. So it is important to find the right kind of data. We have to make sure that it is appropriately processed before we use it. In the previous module, we looked at the WHO GIS Hub, where we make available the authoritative data to our member states so that we all are using the same base data, such as population estimates, administrative and health boundaries, health facilities, and other such data sets. We also must ensure that the administrative boundaries we use in our maps are cleared by the WHO legal team, and for that we have an appropriate base map. There is a lot of data all around us. Users in WHO are partner organizations, governments, health ministries, service providers, and millions of GIS users around the world are constantly creating and sharing data. How do we find that? We will go over some of that. And finally, we will also briefly touch upon what analysis possibilities are there within ArcGIS Online. So how do you find all the data that is available out there, shared by thousands of users from around the world? ArcGIS Online has a user-friendly, inbuilt search capabilities. Using these search capabilities, you can find and directly add data into their maps. You can search for data from your own collection. You can search them from data created by someone in your group or organization. You can also search for layers from within Esri's Living Atlas collection, or if you just select the last option of search from ArcGIS Online, you will find content created and shared by anyone in the world. You can also add data that you have searched into your map with just a few clicks. And we will show you a demo how you can do that. And in the hands-on tutorial exercises, you will also get to do these operations yourself. Once you log into ArcGIS Online, this is what your homepage looks like. We went through several of these interface tabs earlier in the previous session. So now we're going to click on a map because we want to add some data and search for a data in map. Let's click on this map and it takes you to a map window. Has a map showing on the right side, and then on the left side there's a panel that talks to you about, that shows you about what it is about and also content. And you can also look at the legend here once you add layers. What we are going to do is we're going to add some layers. First, you're going to search for them, then we're going to add some layers. So you click on this add button here on the upper left corner, and we're going to search for layers. So while searching for layers, there are several options. By default, it shows you the layers that are created by you in your space. And I have these two layers, which we created in the previous session. I can switch to my groups. You see that the number of layers that goes up is 21 layers. These are the layers created by other members of my group that I'm part of. Then I can click on my organization, which is within WHO. You'll see that there are over 2,000 layers that are there created by different people from different offices for different programs. And once I go to Living Atlas, it even expands it further because these are curated data layers by Esri. And there you see over 5,700 layers and categorized under different themes like people, environment. And when I go to ArcGIS Online, this shows me all the layers that have been ever shared by any user around the world. And that's 10,000 plus layers in this collection. So I'll go back to my group and I'll search for a layer called world population. So I type in world population here in the box and hit enter. It shows me that there is one layer that is in world population under my groups. If I switch to my organization, you'll find that there are 14 layers that are there created by different users. I'm going to click on one of the layers and it shows me the metadata that somebody, whoever created this data, has put in there, which is great because that's how it becomes easier to find the data. It tells me that data is authoritative and it was updated earlier this year in February, created by Daniel Obare from WHO GIS Center. So I like this layer. I'm going to add this layer to my map. And I click on this button at the bottom and it adds the map. Now I can close my metadata tab. I can go back to my content. So this shows me the population data set from around the world. If I go to content, I see I now have one more layer. And if I go to legend, it also shows me the population, how it is rendered. So I go back again to my add layer and I search for layers. And I can now look for, let's say, in my ArcGIS Living Atlas, I can look for forests. And you will see there are 182 layers. And I scroll down and I like this global land cover data. I want to add that data and I want to see where people live, where the highest population people are, and what is the land cover over there. So I add to map. Now it has actually brought in the layer from ArcGIS Atlas, Living Atlas. This is what the data looks like. I go back to content and I see that there are two layers. I can turn the population layer off because it's on top. I can move this layer at the bottom if I want to, or move this layer up. And so this is what my data set looks like. Now I also want to see, let's say, if there are any other data, I want to send some supplies to a certain place. I want to find the airport. I search for a layer under, let's say, my organization. I search for airport. And it shows me all these layers, this large airport created by one of our colleagues. So the global airports, that's probably really big. I just want to see the large airports. So I can click on this data and I click add. And as you can see, it adds all these global airports, large airports around the world into my map. So this is how you add data, and you can also remove data by just clicking on, if you don't want a certain layer, you can just right click and click on remove. You can turn the layers on and off. And this rendering and coloring that you see over here, the symbology, we will do that in the next module. There are several options for a base map in ArcGIS Online, such as imagery, which shows high resolution satellite imagery, street maps, National Geographic base map, and many more. You can choose whichever one you like for your map. The pre-rendered layers in the base map are scale dependent, which means as you zoom in, you see more and more details of that area. And as you zoom out, it becomes more generalized. This also helps in the display speed of the map and uses less bandwidth. We always start with the WHO legal department approved base map that shows WHO approved administrative country boundary, but you are free to change or switch to any other base map that you feel appropriate. We already showed you how you can add layers directly from the Living Atlas during the tutorial exercise. And after you go home, you should spend some time exploring this collection of layers and see how it can be useful in your work. The URL is livingatlas.arcgis.com. Spatial analysis is a very important component of GIS as it provides you with solutions to your questions, your challenges in your work. We will briefly touch upon this topic as it is a very large topic in itself. Since this is a basic online GIS workshop, we will not go into details of this. What we want to do is have a training workshop dedicated only to spatial analysis at a later date. Once you are more comfortable with using ArcGIS Online, we will keep you informed about this workshop. And now we will switch to a demo. So what I have here in the map window is a pre-rendered map showing some sample cases by country. And I have the health boundaries data that we downloaded in the previous module. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit about the base map and then switch to introduction to spatial analysis. So base map, there are 4 tabs in the upper left corner, and the third one is the base map. When I click on the base map, it shows me what are my options. There are several base maps, as you can see. There is satellite imagery, there is street maps, and then there is this admin boundaries. There is National Geographic map, then there is oceans map, and then there are several other maps. And the last one on the lower left, lower right corner, the WHO base map. So I'm going to switch to a topographic map here, and just to show you what it looks like. And then to show the date area, I'm going to turn the admin boundaries off. So as you can see, it shows a very generalized map. But as I mentioned, as you zoom in, you start seeing more and more details of that particular area. So let's say if I zoom into Nigeria, I start seeing more and more topographic information, some roads and rivers, boundaries. This is how the base map is organized. The layers are scale dependent. Now I will switch to another base map, which is one of my favorite, which is the National Geographic base map. And this is what the National Geographic base map looks like. You might remember it from the National Geographic magazines. This is how the layers were rendered. And again, as you zoom in, you start seeing more and more details. So I stop here about the base map and let's switch to analysis. As I mentioned, analysis is a very big topic and we're going to touch upon what are the possibilities, what you can do with it. So the fourth tab on the upper left corner is the analysis tab. What you can do here is the several functionalities or operations of analysis are organized in multiple categories. So you can summarize your data such as join features, aggregate points, you can find locations, choose the best facility, create new sheds, create watersheds. You can analyze patterns like finding hotspots, calculate densities. You can do some analysis with proximity, create buffers, find the nearest point, plan some routes. And you can also use it to manage data. These are the basic geoprocessing operations such as dissolve boundaries. If you want to create larger boundaries by dissolving smaller boundaries, you can merge layers, you can overlay layers, you can intersect and extract data for a particular region. So these are several operations that you can do. And as you mentioned, we'll do a dedicated workshop on this and we'll announce that. What I want to show you is one operation that we all use a lot in the field, and that is the join operation. You have a spreadsheet which has the number of cases and it's organized by country. And then you have a country boundary data feature layer, and you want to join the cases with the country boundaries. And this is what you would do. Under summarize data, you would use this join feature. And when you click on this I button here, it shows quickly that what it does. Basically, join feature, you can summarize and transfer attributes from one layer or table to another feature layer based on the spatial attributes. Let's try adding the number of cases that we have here, which is seeing the map, to the admin boundaries. I'm going to click on join features. So my target layer in this case is admin boundaries, which is the detailed health boundaries. And I'm going to pull data from the spreadsheet, from the sample cases data. This is what we have. And now I'm going to choose a field to match because we need a matching field. So in this case, the target field is admin zero name, which is the country name. And in the join field from my sample data is country name. So these two matches will let me join the data. And that's all I need to do pretty much. Once I click on the run analysis, it will actually run and join the data to Polygon data. In the interest of time, I've already created that layer and I'll just show it to you. So this is what the layer looks like when I turn it on. And basically it is country boundaries with attributes attached to it. So I click on this layer. I'm just going to bring this layer down here a little bit, change the order. Yeah. So this is what I have here. Now, if I click on this Algeria, for example, it tells me these are the joint feature layers that we just created. So it has all the attributes of the country boundaries that were already there. And at the bottom, you'll see that it added the cases and the ISO code from the other attributes, which is the sample data. Again, I click on Tajikistan and I'll see there are 4 options that I need to look at. And in the join feature, it has these country boundaries, the information already existing, and then it adds the number of cases at the bottom here. So basically, this information is coming from this point, this layer. So this is what join works, and it's a very useful operation to use in a daily basis because a lot of information that we get is from spreadsheet. So we stop here and now we'll start on our tutorial exercises. Thank you.